I came home one sweltering afternoon to a sight that stopped me dead in my tracks. 6 strangers in floppy sun hats splashing through synchronized water aerobics in my backyard pool, while Linda Harper lounged on my deck chair, sipping rose like she was the queen of my property. That was the moment I knew I had to build something to make them scatter like roaches under a flashlight of voltage alarm system that'd scream louder than their entitlement ever could. Retirement was supposed to be my sanctuary. After 30 years as a firefighter, I bought this house for its Paola private oasis to soothe my aching joints, float under the sun, and host my grandkids on weekends. I made it crystal clear at every HOA meeting. The pool was mine on my land, behind my locked fence, maintained with my money. No community access, no shared dips. Everyone nodded along. Everyone except Linda. She was the HOA president, armed with a clipboard and a smile so fake it could have been plastic wrapped. At first, her nitpicking was subtle, pointing out a stray weed, a slightly crooked mailbox, or how my American flag was the wrong size for the pole. I brushed it off, thinking she was just a busybody. Then I realized she was the kind who took silence as a green light to steamroll boundaries. It started at the last HOA barbecue, when I overheard her telling a new neighbor that I was generous for letting the community use my pool during heat waves. I laughed, assuming it was a bad joke, until I learned she'd handed out spare keys to her yoga buddies. When I confronted her in the parking lot, she waved me off with a giggle, saying she was building community VY best. I changed the locks that Sunday. But Monday, while I was volunteering with the local EMT crew, my phone pinged with a motion alert. I opened the camera feed, and there she was, Linda, strutting around my pool with 3 women, pool noodles, and a cooler. One kicked off her sandals onto my tomato plants. They stayed for 3 hours, Leah VY-ing wet cushions, a half-empty wine bottle, and a towel draped over my grill. The nerve was jaw-dropping. I dragged the footage to the next HOA meeting. Linda didn't blink. She called it a clerical mix-up and suggested I volunteer my pool for the next lady social since I was so passionate about community safety. The room went quiet. Someone snickered. Linda smirked like she'd won a chess game. That night, I couldn't sleep. It wasn't just the trespassing, it was her smugness, the way she pushed until people caved to avoid her drama. I wasn't going to be one of those people. I spent days poring over security footage, not just from the pool, but from every camera I'd set up years ago when raccoons kept raiding my shed. Linda wasn't even sneaky. She had a copied key and used it midweek when she knew I was gone, hosting wine parties, yoga sessions, even bringing a portable speaker once. I didn't want a shouting match. I wanted a solution that'd hit like a thunderclap without me raising my voice. That's when it hit me. A voltage-sensitive alarm system, loud and obnoxious but harmless, tied to motion sensors and a flashing LED board. If you stepped near the pool without my Bluetooth ID, it'd wail like a tornado siren and light up with a warning nobody could ignore. I sketched it out, then fake being away one Wednesday, parking my truck around the block and watching from my upstairs bathroom with a thermos of iced coffee. Right on cue, Linda and her crew waltzed in, laughing, toting towels and clinking glasses. She even posted a photo on social media, captioning it, "Summer VY best with my girls." My pool, my fence, my life her Instagram prop. I didn't storm out. I went to my garage and started building. The system wasn't dangerous, just dramatic. Waterproof motion sensors, external speakers, a battery-powered siren, and LED strips, all wired to pressure-sensitive tiles in the pool's shallow end. If someone stepped in without my phone's Bluetooth signal, the setup would scream, "Trespasser detected. Leave immediately," while the LED board flashed the same in blazing red. Testing took days. Early versions triggered during wind gusts or when a bird perched on the edge. I tweaked the sensitive VY tie, added a delay to avoid toe-dip false alarms, and by the 4th night, it was perfect. I tested it at midnight, stepping into the pool barefoot, Bluetooth off. The siren roared, lights flashed, and my recorded voice boomed. I nearly slipped laughing. Linda didn't respond to reasons she craved control and attention. So I'd give her attention in the worst way. I upgraded my cameras for night VY sound and facial tracking, repositioned one to face the pool directly, I kept my routine normal VYing to neighbors, mowing the lawn but didn't breathe a word about the system. I wanted Linda cocky, thinking she could waltz in again. To bait her, I parked my truck away some days, left the porch light off, let the grass grow just long enough to irk her. I even posted a vague lake photo online to hint I was out of town. Everything was set. Linda's Ladies Social hit every Wednesday at noon, caught on camera 3 times before. This time, I let her walk right into it. That morning, I was up before dawn, pacing like I was planning a heist. I checked the sensors, tested the siren under moonlight, and parked my truck 2 blocks away. I slipped into my shed with a tiny fan and my phone, watching the camera feed. Just before noon, the gate creaked open. Linda strutted in, oversized sunglasses and a floral wrap, followed by 4 friends with floaties and a Bluetooth speaker playing jazz. She unlocked the pool gate with her stolen key. No shame, and they gushed about how lucky they were to have such a clean pool. Linda dragged a chair to her favorite spot, poured drinks, and dipped her toes in with a dramatic flourish. The sensor blinked. She took a full step into the pool. The world exploded. Sirens ripped through the air, lights blazed like a rock concert, and the LED sign screamed, "Trespasser detected. Leave immediately." Linda shrieked, slipping into the shallow end with a splash. One friend dropped her drink, another tripped over a towel. The woman with the speaker fumbled, thinking it was hers. Neighbors spilled into their yards, phones out, one live streaming with commentary about a home invasion. Linda flailed out of the pool, mascara streaking, banging on a locked alarm panel, and yelling about lawsuits. I stepped out of the shed, strolling up like I'd just arrived. She pointed a trembling finger, demanding I shut it off. I swiped my phone, and the siren died. The silence was heavier than the noise. I asked what she was doing in my pool without permission. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. The neighbors watched, phones still rolling. I pulled a USB stick from my pocket and said I had footage of every time she trespassed said 3 times in 30 days, all crystal clear. I was ready to take it to the HOA or the police. She stammered it was a mistake, claiming she thought the pool was communal. I reminded her she just told her friends nobody would bother them today. The crowd shifted. A neighbor shouted that Linda acted like she owned the block. Another called her entitled. Her confidence cracked. She accused me of setting a trap. I shrugged. I installed a security system to deter trespassers. You triggered it. Her friends slunk away, one muttering an apology. Linda stormed off, vowing legal action. Someone clapped. Another yelled, "Nice one, Tom." I nodded and went inside. The days of her walking over me were done. By morning, the neighborhood was eerily quiet, like it was holding its breath. Videos of Linda's meltdown spread online, captioned with jabs like "Justice cannonballed her ego." The HOA called an emergency meeting. I almost skipped it, but I wanted to face her head on. The clubhouse was packed, the board tense. Linda sat up front, avoiding my eyes, her usual smugness replaced by a rattled look. A board member read a statement about harassment and misuse of security systems. Linda stood, feigning concern, claiming she was just confused about boundaries and feared for her safety after my hostile trap. I let her finish, then opened a folder. I laid out timestamps, photos of her using the key, logs of every intrusion, and a diagram proving the system was safe and legal. I played a clip of her unlocking the gate and boasting about not getting caught. The room went silent. Neighbors started sharing their own stories. Linda's fake citations, unannounced VY sits, MOVYing signs to mess with parking. A retired judge on the board asked if Linda had any proof she was allowed to use my pool. She didn't. The board voted 5-0 to suspend her presidency. She stormed out, nearly toppling a chair. The next day, a for sale sign appeared on her lawn. No farewell, no fanfare, just gone. I didn't gloat. I felt relief. The pool was mine again, and so was the peace. But Linda wasn't done. She filed a county complaint about code violations by my pool. An inspector came, took notes, and later told me off record that Linda had targeted others before. That night, my cameras caught her sneaking in, dumping pink dye in the pool. I called the police, showed them the footage. They recognized her from other complaints and issued a cease and desist. More letters followed HOA gripes about my lawn, city noise violations. All her doing. I fought back with calm. I sent the HOA a timeline of her harassment, with screenshots of neighbors mocking her online. The city asked for a statement about her abuse of their complaint system. By Tuesday, she was arguing with a city worker outside her house, arms flailing. Word spread. HOA meetings swelled with residents rewriting bylaws to stop her kind of rain. Her house sold quietly, and she vanished. I sat by my clean pool that night, grilling dinner, music low. The stars were out, the water still. Peace wasn't just the absence of noisy, it was knowing I'd stood my ground. Linda thought she could take what she wanted, twist rules, bully anyone. She didn't count on someone wiring a siren to her ego. I leaned back, feet in the water, and whispered, "Wrong pool, Linda." The ripples shimmered, undisturbed, exactly as they should be.